everybody, welcome to Anime Now and Forever.
Today, we will be talking about I believe the translation is the world's strongest and a commonplace. We know in Japanese, Sekai means world, and we know Saikyou means the strongest. Dei means, I think, by means of or at. Arifureta, I think, is commonplace. I will have to take a look again. But anyway, this story revolves around the main character, Nagumo Hajime. The first episode pretty much just revolves around his character. In the second and third episode, you start getting into the supporting characters. This anime really got my attention. This anime is dark. You start with a character that is all by itself, surrounded by nothing but the strongest monsters in his world, okay? This boy is scared for his life, okay? He witnesses a rabbit cut in half a wolf, okay? He witnesses a bear that kills a rabbit that killed the wolf, okay? His place on the food chain is at the very bottom. The bear that killed the rabbit that killed the wolf took off Nagumo's arm, ate it right in front of him. That put the fear of God into him. At this point, Nagumo was doing everything in his power to get away from this bear. He has the power of transmutation. Full Metal Alchemist, Ed and Alfonso, how they can like put their hands on the floor and make a wall come out. That's pretty much what his power was. I think his power, the ability to construct stuff out of matter. But anywho, that's all he could do. And he only used it for defensive means. It looked like he didn't know how to use it for offensive means. So in his process of trying to get away from this bear, he winds up going into this room, okay? It looks like it was the inner sanctum of this cave. At the very top of this cave, or this room, it was a blue orb. This blue orb dripped like a particular type of holy water, if you may want to call it. He finds out that when drinking this water, it heals his wounds. It didn't heal the arm that was taken by the bear, but it heals wounds. It doesn't regenerate, it heals. He stayed in this cave for quite some time, but like with all people, we get hungry. So he has to go out and eat. What winds up happening is he learns how to make traps. One of the wolves that was killed at the beginning, he invites them into the cave, and the wolves think they're about to eat him. Well, he turns the tables on them. He puts them in this trap, kills the wolves, and then he eats them. But there's a price. When you eat these monsters, your body goes through horrendous changes. What he had to do is, every time he would eat a monster, he had to drink that holy water. And that holy water repaired his body. And by doing so, every monster that he ate, he took their abilities, which I thought was interesting. And it being in this game-like world, they get points. So this, yes, is another isekai anime. We're getting a lot of those as of late. At first, I thought it was just, a regular world, but when you start seeing level such and such, stats, magic points, that's definitely isekai. So anyways, the more monsters that he eats, the higher his level goes. He gets to a point he eats so many monsters and his body has gone through so many changes, his black hair turns white. His personality goes from a very timid personality to a very hardcore, man-like personality. And you see him confidently leave the cave. Whereas before he was scared for his life, he has now eaten enough monsters, leveled up enough to confidently walk around the cave. From the monsters that he's eaten, he's also made weapons. So how I talked about defensive before, he now has offensive weapons. No, he doesn't use his transmutation ability for these weapons. He actually created a gun. It looks like when he was in the upper world, he was a bookworm. So he studied a lot instead of battle. So he used that knowledge to actually help him raise his level, to help him better use these abilities he has obtained. You find out earlier, which I neglected to mention, that he was betrayed. He was betrayed by people he thought he could trust. The second episode kind of goes more into that. They start to talk about Kaori and Tio. They're supporting characters. Kaori is a healer who has very close ties to Nagumo, and Tio is a swordsman who has major offensive abilities. You find out that they all journey into this labyrinth together, and some idiot touches this magical stone, whereas they were on the first level. As soon as they touch this stone, they round up like on level 60 something, where like the intermediate to strong monsters are. And these two gigantic monsters appear out of nowhere, and they start fighting for their lives. Kaori, who again I said had a close connection to Nagumo, finds herself in danger. Nagumo runs to her aid. When he tells her to, get away, one of the soldiers grabs her and runs away. He decides to be a sacrificial lamb to help everybody. And as he starts to run away, he notices, the beams being fired at the monsters. One of the beams comes in front of him and destroys his path, therefore causing him to fall with the monster. At that point, you knew he was betrayed. He had some dirty people in his camp, and the people he thought he could trust were straight out traitors. Through the rest of these episodes, he carries these thoughts. And yes, he wants his revenge. Tio, I guess during that point, when she sees Nagumo, falling to his death, she panics. She wants to go after him. One of the generals knocks her out and takes her back. Tio, who is the swordsman, who is kind of, I guess, her friend, almost like big sister, she feels her pain, but she thanks the sergeant because there's really nothing more they can do at that point. Tio seems like she seems like she's a soldier who falls in line, but again, she does care for her fellow soldier, her fellow man. At the end of the second episode, you meet the fourth main character, Yue. Although her name is not Yue at that point. She is a little girl who you find out is a vampire that was entrapped in this contraption, this jewel, this stone. She has a story of betrayal. I think it was funny. One of the funniest things in this anime, especially in the second episode, was, you hear, he walks into this room, he hears Yue's voice calling out to him. And then he walks up to her, he talks to her, and then he walks away. And she asks, "Why are you walking away?" And Nagumo says, who in their right mind would free a person that's actually captured or sealed? They were sealed for a reason. And that was the truest thing I've ever heard. I believe some naive anime characters, they was like, oh, there's a girl that's trapped, let me free her. But he actually used sense and reason. He actually talked to her. And when she explained about her betrayal, it really, touched a nerve in him, and he felt they had a common bond. So he actually released her. Yui, they go into a little backstory about her, how she was this old vampire. She was just too strong, and the era that they were going into, she was feared. So they sealed her up. That pretty much is how the second episode ends. Third episode, you see, it looks like Yui and Nagumo pretty much try to make their way out of the cave. They encounter various monsters. It looks like, to me, it's kind of rushing to get to the fourth episode where they get to the outside world. Now, my take on this anime, I like the anime, but I know where this anime is going. It's kind of generic, but I'ma still watch it anyway. What's gonna happen is, I could be wrong, but what's gonna happen is, he started off the weakest, now he's the strongest. He's gonna be a monster when he gets back to his actual people. They're gonna talk about him. He's gonna say, look at me. Look at all these abilities I have. I can beat you with both my hands tied behind my back. They're gonna get mad. They're gonna get jealous. He's gonna beat him again. Kaori, she's not gonna, she wants to protect him, but she knows he doesn't need her. With Yui beside him, that makes him even more unstoppable. So, the girls are gonna start looking up to him. He's gonna form an all-girl party. That's just how these animes go. So, this anime more so is for entertainment purposes. I expect this anime to go 13 episodes, maybe 12 episodes. I'm not expecting to go on any longer. I'm going to continue to watch this anime. Is it epic? It started off epic, but I guarantee you, it's going to have a lackluster ending. I don't care. I'm watching it for fun. That's what anime is, and it's always been about. It's fun. Some people take anime way too seriously. I'm not one of those people. Yes, I like a good anime. I like fun animes, and to me, this is a fun anime. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. I will see you on next time. You guys take care.